Hello, dear participants of Europe 22. I have the great pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Camille Etienne. Camille Etienne is a 23-year-old French climate activist, and she was born and raised in a very, very small village in the Savoy Alps. And this May, she will receive her Master in International Management and Sustainability at the prestigious Sciences Po in Paris. To give you an idea, Camille Etienne is in France as known as Luisa Neubauer is in Germany. Both Camille Etienne and Luisa Neubauer are in close contact, and I am very happy that today Camille is here with us to tell us more about her view on the impact climate activism has on climate politics. Of course, you can write your questions into Slido as well, and we'll see that we can get your questions into the conversation too. Camille, hello, nice to have you here.
Hello, thank you for welcoming me.
Yeah, Camille, since your country, France, is one of the core member states of the European Union, and right now it even holds the presidency of the Council of the EU, I really would like to start with a look at the climate politics of President Emmanuel Macron. Macron had promised to make climate protection one of the important issues of his presidency. Now, his term is coming to an end. What would you say? Did the president deliver on his promises?
Sadly, it's a huge no. We activists and a lot of people, citizens that live in France, are really disappointed of the 5 last years, because he presented himself in the international sphere as like the leader of climate, with the make our climate great again, make our planet great again. But in his own country, he was not capable of voting for a law, the climate law that was aiming to reduce by 40% our global emission by 2030. Even this seems too ambitious for his government. So how, at the same time, could he respect a European agreement aiming to reduce by 55%? So we are just answering ourselves, actually, what will he do? And there's a lot of law that's happening during this 5 years that were really against actually activists, with the Cellule Déméter that was aiming to look at activists, what were they doing, and that was really threatening our liberty, and also all for instance, today there's in Brest the One Ocean Summit, and France is one of the biggest country pushing for exploring the deep sea mining, and this is really, really dangerous for our whole ecosystem. So for me and for many others, he is really not a climate champion as he pretends to be.
Yeah, well, you're in Brest as well, as I understand it, and thank you very much for joining us here right now for this panel. You're very clear that you're not happy with what Macron has did during the last 5 years. So now, in April, there will be the first round of the presidential election again in France. And so far, climate protection and the climate crisis are no topic at all. Why is that so? Are climate activists like you maybe not loud enough? Should you do more?
We are trying our best, but for sure we are not loud enough, because if we look at the result, maybe we are not enough as people. But when you look at the result, we are actually discussing the known of our children. We are discussing only about immigration. We are discussing about polemic on Twitter, but we are not discussing about real politics, what matters for people. Because it's funny, they always say, yeah, but youth doesn't go to vote. There's a lot of abstention there. But if they actually discuss the topics that really matters for us, if they really talk about how are they going to get aligned with the Paris Agreement, how are they going to do to not threaten our very future, maybe we would go and vote for them. But this is not even a topics. There was a debate between the Wings people. There was 2 hours debate. They don't even pronounce the words ecology once in 2 hours. I mean, that just scary. It's really scary for every of us. And we are really, really close from the due date. So we're doing our best, at least that is becoming a topic of campaign.
So what are you planning to do? How do you want to influence and change the presidential campaign?
What I can tell you, because there's some secrets, then I don't want to spoil you everything, but I discussed a lot with Luisa Neubauer, that you know in Germany, and I know that they did a lot of action to, encourage the people to vote for the climate. Not only one specific people, but just saying you have to take into account this emergency when you go and vote for that. I'm trying to meet some of them to influence them and say, okay, there's a lot of NGO that made some proposition that you can just take in your own program. There's these topics that you should discuss. So it's like lobbying, basically, but like from the point of view of an activism. Of an activist who I am. So I'm doing my best to meet them, to talk to them, and I'm doing my best also to ask the journalists as well that have a huge responsibility in the question they ask them. If in the Mayo debate they just decided to spend half the time talking about climate justice, then they will have to answer, and then we will be able, citizens, to decide who is the most ambitious and who is more realistic concerning our future. So yeah, I'm trying also to focus on journalists.
Okay, well, that's good to know. You yourself, you're often described as a militant activist. And militant to me sounds quite harsh. So maybe you could explain a bit, what does militant mean in that context? Does that mean you're willing to use force?
Well, when people ask me this question, I just always answer that that's not activists that are harsh, that's the reality that is harsh. And then we have to answer this reality with courage. We have to be brave, because we're not talking only about polar bears. We are talking about the lives of people. It's not something for future generation. It's something that is happening right now in Madagascar. There are already people dying from climate change. Even in France, there's 50,000 people that die every year because of air pollution, and so on and so on and so on. In Belgium and in Germany, of course, you have a huge summer that were really devastating because of climate change, fires and flooding and so for me, it's just a way, being an activist, it just decided that you are going to look the truth in the eyes. It's like a French expression saying that you're gonna not just look away and say, oh, it's too complicated for me, I'm too little, it's too far, no, you just do everything you can. You just put all your time, energy, talent into trying to solve this problem altogether. It's basically just this, being an activist.
In Germany right now, there is a group of young climate activists who are currently trying to get the attention of the public by blocking roads for cars. Is civil disobedience a necessary means to raise awareness towards climate change, to get the people pay attention?
Yeah. For me, I think that we are destroying an ecosystem, the nature ecosystem, and the biodiversity ecosystem. So we have to answer by building a new ecosystem, as an ecosystem of action. So journalists have to talk about these topics, politics have to take decisions, we have to protest on the road, we have to teach children in school about this, we have to do as well civil disobedience. It's not like a scale where civil disobedience will be the best way of acting. It's just another and necessary way of doing this. In France, we have the difference between what is legal and what is legitimacy, the legality and the legitimacy, and it's not the same. The law are not always for the common good. So when it's not the case, then we have to disobey.
Since the beginning of the year, there has been a big debate about the EU taxonomy plans. It has been a debate here at the conference as well, and it's going to be further on, I think. The big issue is that taxonomy now includes nuclear energy and gas power plants under certain circumstances as sustainable energy sources. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, it's just in the title. It's supposed to drive the finance and all the money towards real sustainable energy. Talking about gas, which is the main source of emission, I mean, it just really nonsense. It's just like a children will understand that there's something going wrong here. So we are really asking ourselves about the real intention of the EU with taxonomy. I know we have to go through transition. I know we can't do it like tomorrow. We can't stop nuclear tomorrow. But at the same time, we really have to be brave and to take it seriously. You know, nuclear is really such a topic in France because we rely a lot on this kind of energy. It's supposed to be cleaner. That's true. Actually, there's no energy is perfectly clean because we need like another energy to build the infrastructure and so on and so on. But for me, the question is first to reduce the amount of energy that we use and that we produce. It's first like being focused on this, not only on the mixed energy mix that we have, because of course nuclear does not produce CO2 emission, but there's security issue that you all know. There is what are we going to do with the waste? And you know, in ecology, in circular economy, there is no waste. So this produce waste, are we going to say to the other generation, hey guys, be careful, you can't live here because there is really dangerous waste just under your feet. So that raises a lot of issue that we can't just say, okay, that's the perfect solution, go into it. That's a short-term solution, but for me, for humanity, I think it's a question we have to discuss all together in democratic tools. And for me, we can't like just rely on this and just keeping the business as usual and just changing a bit which kind of energy we use. We do have to reduce. I'm not the one saying this, like all the scientists, the serious one, are saying the same.
Yeah. Let's stay for a bit on the nuclear issue, because there is a question on that as well. So Bruno Le Maire clearly voted for nuclear energy, made a point for nuclear energy. And Macron apparently will or wants to strongly invest in nuclear energy. So what will you do as a movement against that?
Well, it's not my favorite topics. I know energy is very important, but you know, it's really technical and you have to know what you're talking about before taking action, for sure. So as I know, I have some voice that can be heard. I am doing everything I can to not talk about fake news, to not, you know, to be really serious about my work. So I did not launch any action yet about these topics because I honestly I'm not convinced by one action to do. But there is something interesting to read if you want to talk about this. It's the RTE, so RTE scenario that have been launched, and then they explain you 5 or 6 way that we can like go out of nuclear weapon and of nuclear energy, sorry. And yeah, that's a mistake that might make sense. No, but I mean, like, then you can watch it and choose all together. Like, for me, it's a question that we can't just decide, not Bruno Le Maire, no Macron can decide on this, because it's such important for a country, for humanity, for society, that such long-term consequences that we have to vote for this. We have to have a democratic debate on this. So my opinion does not really matters, but I hope that the next president will decide to really make it an issue that we are going to discuss all together, because we can't take it like just like a small topics. It has a huge consequences.
Yeah, you're talking about the next president. How comes that France does not really have an important Green party and the Green candidate is not getting much votes and attention?
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, I don't. Well, the thing is that also we left. You know, we used to have right and left, and it was quite easy. Not as United States, but easier than in other country. We are not as in Germany. We're not used to compromise. It's rather left and right and left and right. And then last election was really new because Macron said, I'm in the middle. Like, I'm not in the middle, but I take the best of it. It turns out that wasn't really the case. But anyway, now we, like, all the political party are just like, it's a way new time for France talking about election. And so one is a bit lost. Like, the historical party are the most weak today. They are like Zemmour, which is a guy like really dangerous for a democracy that is just having a lot of political attention and a lot of media attention and a lot of people who are saying that they're going to vote for him. So we are really scared of this. And why there's not just one people that are representing ecology, because, you know, there is also Mélenchon, there is also Anne Hidalgo, there is also Christian Taubira that are saying that they are for most ambitious climate plan. So people are lost. Who are we going to vote for? So you can only vote for climate, then you have to vote for social justice, then you have to vote for democracy, then you have to vote for freedom. And all of this is a bit of mixed. And during, like, just to finish on this, like, a lot of activists really focus their efforts on trying to make them united, trying to say, okay, please, we know you don't agree on everything. We doesn't agree with you on everything, but please just allow yourself be together so that we can vote for one people. That doesn't really work. Now we have like more than 5 candidates. And so I'm really scared about what's going on, what's going to be the coming weeks.
Yeah. You mentioned the French climate law before, and I'd like to come back to that. It's been decided in August, and as you said, this new climate law is not compatible with EU plans concerning the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. And I mean, before that, there was a lot of discussion going on. There was the climate convention. There were so many people active. And then in the end, the outcome, the law itself, I guess, was very disappointing. In a moment like that, do you think that climate activism has an impact at all?
Yeah, we do the best. You know, I stayed for 3 weeks in the front of the parliament with people. First, we were 4 friends, and we ended up like being like people that are coming from all over the country to stay and say, okay, we had everything to make it happen. So, you know, there was like a Convention Citoyenne pour le Climat, climate convention with citizens. So you have the democracy, legitimacy, you have plans. It was like real into an idea of social justice as well. So everything was made to make it a success. But still, the government just do everything he can to make it a law that doesn't mean anything. So we were super disappointed because we got such an opportunity that actually it turns out that there was the lobby from the publicity, the lobby from the industry that managed to make it a smaller law. So we said, okay, we are going to be the citizen lobby. We are here. We're going to stay just in front of your door, and we are waiting you, a member of the parliament, to come and talk to us, citizen. You are representing us. And so it worked really well because all of them basically comes like from every party at some point. They were all the media attention and so on. So we managed to change some decision, but really that wasn't enough at all. Of course, I agree with you. And of course, we do not have only victory. We are just doing everything we can, but we need more people. We need to be way more powerful. And I see just what we managed to do with only few people, and that if we were way more, we can do way bigger stuff.
Yeah, way more people. That's one thing. We have to be very quick because we don't have very much time left. But climate change doesn't stop at any border, of course. And therefore, I was wondering, since you need more people, are there any plans, since climate politics are going to be so important in the European Union, to do more cross-border activities? Like, are you going to work together with German climate activists more, for instance?
We do a lot. We do a lot already, and I can't wait to do even more on this. There's something coming on. I can't spoil you, but for sure I work with Louisa, with the Belgium one. We work with Louisa with Ugandan and Tanzanian people, also from what we call MAPA, most affected people in areas, to work with those people that really lives today because the consequences of climate change. So this is something that is really powerful because we comes from different cultures, but we share the same value. And so these are the best action because they always turn out to be something great. So I can't wait for the other coming.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Camille, for telling us. And thank you very much for being here and sharing your thoughts. That was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ja. Und vielen Dank auch an Sie für Ihr Interesse und dafür, dass Sie hier mit dabei waren.